You are going to see a lot of new faces in the 2026-27 Golden Knights lineup based on the expiring contracts, cap pressure, and GM Kelly McCrimmon's own comments. The overhaul is real, and the numbers back it up.
Your Locked On Golden Knights, your daily podcast on the Vegas Golden Knights, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Tony Dasco and Chris Gawlik from Las Vegas coming up ahead. Potentially, how many new faces are we going to see in the lineup when the puck is dropped on the 2026-27 season this upcoming October? VGK announces its preseason schedule. There's only 4 games, and Bill Foley announces his intentions to own an NBA expansion team in Las Vegas. Today's episode brought to you by Odoo. Great organizations win because business operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try it for free today at Odoo .com Slash lockedon. And please make sure that you tune in every day, Monday through Friday, 1 o'clock. And you can catch our show on the Silver State Sports and Entertainment Network. SSSEN can be found on Cox Cable Channel 77 and on YouTube TV. So unofficially, right, Chris, on yesterday's show, I made a prediction of 3.5 new players in the VGK starting lineup when the puck is dropped this upcoming season. But currently, there could be 6 to 10 new players in the VGK lineup next season. When you look at things, this includes a mix of free agent signings, trades, and also internal promotions, right, coming up from Henderson. So here's how we get to that range, grounded in the actual roster situation. Pending unrestricted free agents, this includes Riley Smith, Brandon Saad, Ben Hutton, Dylan Coughlin, and then starters Colton Sissons, Jeremy Lauzon, Rasmussen, and the restricted free agents, as we know, are Pavel Dorofeev and Akira Schmidt. Let's begin here, Chris, because even if Vegas re-signs some of these players, up to half or more will not be returning. So this creates 4 to 6 open roster spots immediately.
Yeah, I mean, let's frame the situation first. A lot of scuttlebutt out there about the Golden Knights have $4.625 million in cap space. No, they have $13 million in change in cap space because Alex Pietrangelo right now, today, June 23rd, is factoring as part of the active salary cap. We know Pietrangelo is a 99.9% chance of not coming back, so he will be going back on season-ending LTIR. So there's over $13 million to work with. But yes, it's going to be a big overhaul as far as players returning, players leaving. You mentioned Anderson. I mean, we're not going to go too deep player by player, but I think something does get done there.
It's done.
Yeah, okay. I think something gets announced sometime soon, maybe a better way to say it. So, but all indications are it's done from many, many different places. I'll put my number out there right now. I'm going by the lineup that started Game 6 of the Stanley Cup final that the Golden Knights were in for the 3rd time in 9 seasons. And happy 10-year anniversary as well to the day the Vegas Golden Knights were announced Vegas would be getting a franchise. It was June 22nd, 2016. So just let that soak in for a second right there. But my number is 5 and a hook. I got 5.5 new players that were on the Game 6 starting lineup or roster, I should say, on the ice. 5.5 players is my over-under. I think it'll be 1 over. I think there'll be 6 new faces in the 2026-27 starting lineup.
Does VGK have to reconstruct the bottom 6? That's a big question. The 4th line was good in spurts, but the 3rd line absolutely needs to be revamped.
I think there's a path where none of these three are back, Hurdle, Sissons, and Riley Smith. Hurdle, of course, being the most difficult to move as he has a very small no trade clause or very small number of teams he'd be willing to accept a trade to. So obviously a lot of a lot of hurdles would have to be jumped there. It's so bad. But no, I think the entire bottom three is gone, number one. And I think that includes Riley Smith. I don't know. I'd like to see Riley Smith come back, but who knows? I mean, I'm guessing Smith maybe has a better circumstance with Ryan Craig, so that might help his prospects of returning. Nick Dowd, $3 million for another year. That's a tough pill to swallow. I like Dowd a lot, the player. $3 million for a bottom line center, where if he can get 10 goals, I think that's an absolute amazing situation, but I don't think he's going to do that. Cole Smith, nice thumper to have around. I don't know if he winds up extending. And then Braden Bowman technically is in the bottom six as of right now. I do see Braden back.
Is Ryan Craig going to try to infuse more players from Henderson other than Trevor Connelly and Braden Bowman? Were there some players that maybe Craig saw that he felt didn't get a fair shake, like a Raphael Lavoie or the goaltender Carl Lindbaum? Do you think
Lindbaum had the fairest shake and had an opportunity to take the ball and run with it, so to speak, and he was okay. He was just okay. Lavoie is another Cody Glass, right? He's going to do pretty well in the American League, but not really prosper in the National League. At least Cody Glass is finding ways to stick with different teams, but Lavoie, I think a small spurt, maybe you get something out of him. Kai Uchez might be someone on the way up, possibly. I still wonder what's going to happen with like a Luke Cormier too, just not to get too into it. But yeah, I mean, Alex Holtz, there we go. Alex Holtz is going to come back, and congratulations on making the softball team, Alex Holtz. But yeah, I mean, Ron Bjerg, here we go. No, I'm kidding about that too. But Craig, the good thing is Craig doesn't. Yes, he'll lean on future coach Joel Ward to get some details about what's happening down on the farm. But Craig also has his personal experience where he'll be more confident in his decision making than maybe a Coach Cassidy or, of course, John Tortorella was with respect to bringing players up from Henderson.
With limited cap space, McCrimmon will likely target maybe a couple of bargain UFAs, Dylan Larkin, as we know, or a big piece via trade depth defenseman they need. And again, do they add sandpaper? I got to always ask this question because they are lacking this from the lineup, and they're going to need to get really gritty this upcoming season.
When you have a Keegan Kolesar in the lineup and you're saying they need to get gritty, that's your first problem right there. Kolesar is gritty, but he thinks he's Willie Mays Hayes in Major League 2, where Willie Mays Hayes came out as a power hitter instead of being that player that just gets on base and kind of sticks to his role, so to speak. So I think Kolesar, number one, to be effective in this lineup, needs to be the sandpaper. Cole Smith definitely fills that role nicely, as does Nick Dowd. Is $3 million, the amount of money you want to pay for that type of sandpaper? I don't know about that, but I also don't know what Nick Dowd's going to have on the open market. Maybe it's back to Washington for future considerations or something like that. I don't know. But yeah, and Sissons had a little sandpaper to him as well. That's the thing. Like, there's players in this lineup that had that sandpaper, but you really didn't see it a whole lot. We were watching. My son had just like a recap from the Stanley Cup run, series by series, about like a 12-minute video about each series. And you saw how physical those games were and the animosity and everything. And then you watch the 25-26 Golden Knights run, and you had a little animosity in the Utah series. I think
not much.
I think the Anaheim series was less than Utah. Colorado wasn't bad at all. And really the Stanley Cup final wasn't that physical too. So I think that's part of VGK's identity. And I think that lacks. And I wonder if Ryan Craig is the coach to bring that back. I don't know.
Who knows? And VGK, as we do know, cannot go with the same goaltenders. So Aiden Hill probably gets moved, right?
Yeah. I mean,
if somebody wants him.
Someone has to want him, or it's going to be tough next season. That's $6 million right there. And I mean, what's that trade package look like? You know, is it future considerations? Do the Golden Knights have to sweeten that deal with something? And what that something is, I don't know. But in a vacuum, yeah, that's that's another segment for another show.
So opening day, you say 5.5.
Five and
new
a half, and I'm going
faces
over
in the starting lineup, right? You're going
the 18
lineup.
skaters.
Okay. And I said 3.5, but after evaluation, I came back with 4.5.
Oh, okay.
So 4.5.
It's like a big
for
bet,
me.
and the line changed. Got it.
It was a lot of betting on the over, a lot of money coming in. Man, this is a really short off season. The preseason schedule already released yesterday. We'll tell you about the shortened preseason schedule, and that comes your way next on Lockdown Golden Knights. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing in the one position that you have to fill. It's still sitting open. When the pressure is on and you need the right hire, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps you to reach the people who actually fit what you're looking for, skills, experience, location, all of that. So you're not just hoping the right candidate stumbles across your post. And here's a stat that says it all. In the minute that I've been talking to you, companies like yours made 27 hires on Indeed, according to Indeed data worldwide. So if you are hiring, spend less time searching, more time interviewing candidates who check all your boxes with Indeed Sponsored Jobs, less stress, less time, and more results when you need the right person to cut through all that clutter and chaos. This is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs, and listeners of our show get a $75 sponsored job credit. It helps you to get that job, the premium status that it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now. Support our very show, and you can say that you heard about it right here on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. ED is a way more common thing than most guys believe, and millions of men deal with it at some point. HIMS offers a simple, convenient way to take care of your health by connecting you with licensed healthcare providers online and then giving you access to personalized treatment options from the comfort of your very home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process designed to make getting care easier. So taking care of yourself shouldn't feel complicated, and HIMS makes the process private and easy to navigate. It's healthcare built around your schedule and your comfort. When something is already uncomfortable to talk about, the last thing that you want is a complicated process. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and much more, visit hims.com/LockedOnNHL. That is hims.com/LockedOnNHL for your free online visit. hims.com/LockedOnNHL. Welcome back on this edition of Lockdown Golden Knights. Tony Cardasco and Chris Gawlik reporting from Las Vegas. And if you have not yet, please subscribe to our Lockdown Golden Knights YouTube channel. Remember the preseason schedule for VGK a year ago? They played 7 preseason games. 7. This upcoming season, there are just 4 preseason games, not only for the Golden Knights, but for the entire league, Chris. The reason being, NHL teams now play 84 games, an increase by 2 games up from 82, the 82-game schedule in the past. The schedule looks like this: September the 19th at the Kings, 22nd at the Sharks, 24th at home against the new rival, the Utah Mammoth or the Utah hockey team, whatever you want to call them, and the 26th home against Macklin Celebrini and the Sharks. So just 4 games in a week span. And when the regular season schedule is announced, the season begins much earlier than in the past. The first games in the NHL will be September the 29th. And this is absolutely a short turnaround for VGK.
Yeah, no doubt. And that's another one for the parking lot. But I mean, the Golden Knights, I believe, played more games than any team in the National Hockey League. You factor the 6-7 Olympians and all their games, and this is a tough spot for an extended regular season and a extra shortened off season. So yeah, I mean, that said, the players wouldn't trade this for anything. I'm sure they're happy with less preseason. I'm sure they're fine with more regular season games, and it's a good thing. The September 19th game against the Kings is actually being played in Ontario. I'm assuming that's
Ontario,
where
right?
the Rain plays, so that's kind of cool.
Yeah.
You got a couple against the Sharks, okay, but that game on the 26th, that's the dress rehearsal. I mean, I wonder how they are going to play that. I mean, usually the dress rehearsal was the middle, like if it was a 6-game regular or 6-game preseason.
7 games last year.
Yes, usually if that 5th or 6th home game is about 90% of the team's roster, what you'll see on opening night. So I do wonder if the September 24th or 26th game, or both possibly, which one actually serves as the dress rehearsal. Probably the game on the 26th, if I had to guess. Yeah, so it's exciting. I mean, it's crazy that we are turning this thing around this fast, and it's we've kind of become accustomed to this in Vegas, right? Short turnarounds for from playoffs to a regular season.
In the preseason, veterans must now play a max of 2 games before the regular season starts. So, what was it before? How many was it before?
Well, I don't know if it was.
I think half of the games.
I think it was a per game basis where a team had to have X number of players in each of the games. I don't remember the specifics behind that, but there was a magic number each game where you had to have this many players who had at least this many games of, I don't know if it was the previous season's experience or overall NHL experience, but they don't want basically teams icing 90% of their American League roster with like 1 or 2 regular players in it.
It has taken years, but the NHL has caught on now. Finally, teams play their divisional rivals 4 times each. So it won't be you play the Kings twice, you play Anaheim 3 times.
You never played the Kings twice. It was always 3 or 4, Tony.
Okay, I'm being facetious. So now they will play each team in the Pillow Fighting Division for the Pillow Fighting Championship 4 times apiece. So that accounts for 28 of the 84 games on the schedule. And my contention has always been they should be playing divisional rivals only. Teams from the Pacific Division, if you're VGK, that last month of the season to sort things out.
Yeah, I like that idea. I think that's definitely a good thing. It gives teams the best opportunity to, get back into the fight, so to speak. So yeah, I do wonder, it's only 2 games, but I do wonder how the math shakes out with respect to teams being live in the playoff run a little bit longer and things like that. It's obviously more revenue for the teams, for the TV deals and everything like that. I wonder, do the players get something prorated for playing the 2 more games? I wonder how that whole thing shakes out as well. I'm sure there's
no, because they would have signed up for the 6 or 7 preseason games anyway. So that makes up for the 2 games.
How that weighs on the contract, though. I know
it just makes up for the 2 games. That's it.
I know when it comes to being a season ticket member, this is beneficial because we're paying for less crappy hockey, for lack of a better term, and getting more regular season hockey without paying more or less money on a per game basis. So I don't know how that shakes out, but more revenue is certainly coming into these teams as a result of doing it like this. The gates and the TV and everything is going to far outweigh, obviously, in the 1 extra regular season game. So I don't know. It's interesting and just something else to unpack. But yeah, I mean, it's nice to see. It's boy, what a long week and a half it was without, thinking about hockey, right? And here we go again.
Here we go again. In the PFD, the Pillow Fighting Division, if they played divisional games down the stretch, it could have been different. Maybe, perhaps. Did the Golden Knights win the division, or Did Anaheim choke and lose the division?
All the above is fine. That's okay. And I mean, you really had a tale of two Golden Knight teams. You had the Golden Knights for Bruce Cassidy's game 1 through 73 or 74, and then you had John Tortorella's Golden Knights game 74 and to last week when the Hurricanes won the Stanley Cup. So those are two different teams, two completely different teams.
On the date of the 10-year anniversary of Gary Bettman announcing the approval for the Golden Knights to join the league, owner Bill Foley announces yesterday his intentions to own an NBA team here in Las Vegas. We'll talk about it next right here on Locked On Golden Knights. Running a business shouldn't feel like you are trying to connect a bunch of systems that were never designed to work together. One app for accounting, another for inventory, another for sales, and somehow none of them talk to each other. And that's where Odoo comes in. Odoo is an all-in-one business management software that brings every part of your business together in one powerful platform. From sales to accounting to inventory and marketing, everything all works in one place. And it helps your team to move faster, stay organized, and focus on growing the business instead of managing software. The best organizations know that success isn't just about talent. It's about having everyone working toward the same goal. And that's true in sports just like it is in business. Great organizations win because operations matter, and that's why you should get Odoo. Try it for free today at Odoo.com/lockedon. Odoo.com/lockedon. That is ODOO.com/lockedon. Thank you for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen of the day. Thank you for making Locked On the #1 sports podcasting network. Sign up today for the Locked On Everydayer Club and get ad-free audio, access to our members-only Discord, and much, much more, all built for our most loyal fans. LockedOnPodcast.com/everydayer. That's the place to go to join our Locked On Golden Knights community today. So yesterday, Chris, Bill Foley launching a bid as he's trying to bring an NBA franchise. I know this is your favorite thing, to bring an NBA team here to Las Vegas. And this comes after the league's Board of Governors approved that vote in late March to explore bids and applicants for an expansion franchise. And I know you're probably one of the naysayers, if you will. You don't want to see an NBA team here in Las Vegas, do you?
I'm concerned about it. I mean, number one, if it's going to bring in a lot of revenue to the city and hopefully help, I'm certainly for that, not necessarily the traffic side of it. Obviously, as many Las Vegas locals, there's concerns about what happened about 20 years ago or so with respect or disrespect, if you will, to the All-Star game and some situations that happened. I'll leave it at that. And then you watch all these celebrations in New York, and you just want the city to be safe and everything. And
it was safe in New York. I was there. It was safe.
You were safe for the confetti, Tony. You were there for the confetti, but you wouldn't have driven your car up and down Times Square when all this was happening because it would have got torched. But no, I mean, listen, that's the short end of it here. But it's found something scrolling last night that got my attention. I tried to find, I wanted to reference the person. It was on one of the Golden Knights Facebook fan pages or ticket pages or something. And someone said, hey, with NBA coming, is there a likelihood of possibly, PSLs, personal seat licenses? So number one, the Raiders did utilize PSLs.
Absolutely.
A PSL is something basically you have to buy in advance. It's like a long 20 or 30-year contract.
Correct.
And it gives you the right to buy your season tickets.
And the A's too. The Athletics are doing this.
Yeah. So, and I've got some stuff here about this. And so, yeah, that's what a PSL is. And it's transferable, or in 20 or 30 years, you might get your money back. And usually that money is used to fund a remodel or some cases building of a stadium Well, if NBA comes to Vegas, there's a lot of discussions about some major changes coming to T-Mobile Arena. There's been discussions of changes to T-Mobile Arena for a while now that I've heard, starting with the area of closer to 15 where that big banner is, about that whole area getting rebuilt and more suites put in and everything. So point
Locker
being
rooms,
is here,
new locker rooms,
new
and
locker
such,
rooms.
too.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. So
So
there's a lot of things that need to happen. Golden State, Toronto, Charlotte, Utah basketball teams all have PSLs. In the NHL, Toronto and Columbus have PSLs. Here's the interesting thing now. Toronto has a joint PSL circumstance with their basketball and hockey teams. I don't know the specifics, but that's how it goes. So hear me out here. The Vegas Golden Knights used to give season ticket members the opportunity to secure long-term deals, 3, 5, 8-year deals, depending on when you signed on and when you extended. You always knew what your tickets would cost next season, your pricing elevators for playoffs, et cetera, and et cetera. Well, now that has changed going into the 26-27 year. You are on a year-to-year deal with no protection with respect to how much next year's tickets are going to cost or how much your playoffs are going to cost. Is this the entry point happening where T-Mobile utilizes PSLs for VGK and NBA?
absolutely, there's no doubt that they will. And the bidding is expected to be in the $7 to $10 billion range. How are they going to get their money back? PSLs. Foley was worth at last check $2.6 billion. So he expects a bid group there to be comprised of limited strategic and minority partners. There are two other groups that I have heard of that have already put their names into the hopper. The one that we know about is by Magic Johnson, that group. There's another dark horse candidate that I've heard about. It has roots in Phoenix, and the Fenway Group, that's the one with LeBron James as principal. They backed out of the bidding. Of course, this is, as we know, Pettyville, and MGM Resorts wants a team at T-Mobile Arena, and I have heard recently that arena will not be available to an NBA team on a temporary basis. So another owner,
So they want all or nothing.
Another owner would have to come in and build their own arena. Is that Pettyville?
Or they just redo T-Mobile Arena.
Well,
you said temporary basis. Temporary means they don't want permanent.
So if another owner comes in, they're going to have to build perhaps a new arena, but on a temporary basis. MGM
I see
Resorts,
what you're saying. Just make
Foley,
T-Mobile a double-decker arena. Put an NBA arena.
Take a hike.
The ice rink.
They're telling them, no, you can't. We don't want your short-term business, bro. Unbelievable. Never ends. Thanks for making Locked On Golden Knights your first listen of the day. And, of course, make sure that you sign up. LockedOnPodcast.com/everydayer to join in the fun. See you tomorrow right here.